Man, I'm telling you guys, things are getting crazy around the world right now. There's a lot of changing that's going on when it comes to just the dynamics of just the whole world in itself. I don't know if you guys have heard anything about this, but it's important to understand what the hell's going on. Is with the BRICS Alliance. I don't know if you know a lot about it, but we're going to dive into it a little bit and really get us a little more comfortable knowing what the hell's going on with that. It's basically a bunch of countries that are forming an alliance so they can do all of their oil and energy trades with their own currencies instead of having to go through the US dollar. That is going to change a lot when it comes to the valuation of the dollar if they're able to do all of their oil transactions without involving the US dollar anymore. That is going to be huge. And that's going to drastically affect the value of the dollar. And it would be quick. Like if this stuff really does happen, guys, it's not going to look pretty. Not going to look pretty at all. So we're going to dive into it. But happy Monday, guys. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Welcome to Getting to the Facts. I'm your host, Andrew Curiel. And we're just going to hop right into it, guys. But before we do, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're still moving, guys. We're still moving. We're up to 85 subscribers. So we're just going to keep it pushing. All right. But let's get over here. And in this article, really from CBS News, what is BRICS? BRICS is an acronym which was originally BRIC, was coined in 2001 by Goldman Sachs analyst Jim O'Neill, who wrote a paper on emerging economies. O'Neill said Brazil, Russia, India, and China, the countries that make up the acronym BRIC, had GDP growth that would exceed that of the G7 countries. The G7 countries are the US, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, and the UK, and they're a group of the world's advanced economies. O'Neill found that at the end of 2000, Brazil, Russia, India, and China accounted for about 23.3% of the world GDP. He expected the BRIC countries' GDP would increase and said the G7 countries should consider adding BRIC representatives to the group. The four original countries formed an informal group in 2006 as allies that contribute to the world economy. In 2011, South Africa joined the group, and so the acronym became BRICS. In 2023, BRICS surpassed the global GDP contribution of the G7 countries, according to the group, which says BRICS accounts for nearly 1/3 of the world economic activity. Leaders from BRICS countries meet annually, and this year's summit in Johannesburg, South Africa, is expected to be the biggest with 69 leaders invited. The group aims to reshape the political economic landscape to benefit themselves, and they have created the BRICS Business Council, the Contingent Reserve Agreement, which provides short-term liquidity support, and the new development bank, which supports development projects in BRICS countries. This year's summit will take place August 22nd to 24th, which they already did, and will focus on reducing global reliance on the US dollar. And guys, I'm telling you, like before we get into more of this article, this is very concerning. Okay, a third of the world's economic activity that this group is trying to get off the US dollar, and they control that much of the world economy. Guys, I'm telling you, if they get off the US dollar, we are screwed. We are that you want to know, you've seen the economy right now, how the cost of everything's going up and all that stuff. Just wait until we don't control the petrodollar anymore. Just wait until the majority of oil sales are not using the US dollar. That is why we're always going to war. We're always going to war because of oil. And if we can keep having a war or going to war for something, all it's going to do is make governments and make militaries have to buy more oil, have to buy more military equipment. And where are they getting it from? They're getting it from the United States. Well, not the oil, but like the military equipment. The oil, we don't even need to sell the oil because every oil transaction as of now goes through the US dollar. So we're seeing money on it no matter what. And that is why we have such an economic superpower in the United States because of that. So it's just concerning, guys, with everything going on. So let's go back to this article here. And is BRICS creating a new currency? They're actually looking at it, but not in this time frame. At this year's summit, the group is discussing de-dollarization, aiming to reduce the reliance on the U.S. dollar and promote the use of national currencies in international trade. And then we're going to go right over here. What does the enlargement of BRICS mean for oil and gas trade? With the addition of Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Iran, this expanded group would include three of the world's largest oil exporters and would constitute 42% of global oil supply. Oil market management will remain the purview of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries and Allied Producers, OPEC+, but over the long term, an expanded BRICS grouping could be significant for energy markets. For years, OPEC+ states have complained that Western energy sanctions on Iran and Venezuela have constrained investment and export flows. More recently, the EU embargoes on Russian seaborne crude oil and petroleum products and the EU G7 price caps have created a new sanctions mechanism that targets revenues rather than export volumes. Other exporters worry that new sanctions tools could target them in the future, and they are wary of G7 interventions that have reshaped energy flows. An enlarged BRICS would include both oil and gas exporters and two of the largest importers, China and India, both of which refused to join the price cap coalition targeting Russia. Producers and consumers in this group have shared interest in creating mechanisms to trade commodities outside the reach of the G7 financial sector. This is no small task. Dollar-denominated energy trade persists for many reasons. The dollar is liquid and freely convertible, in contrast with China's use of capital controls and its opaque financial sector regulation, and many of the world's largest oil exporters peg their currencies to the dollar. As energy sanctions have become more prevalent, a growing number of bilateral energy deals are being settled in other currencies, such as the Chinese renminbi or Indian rupees. But payments for oil or gas imports in certain currencies are a far cry from full internationalization. Guys, this is just worrying because not only is the oil, like not only do they control the oil and the energy, they have a lot. I think 6 out of the 9 top producers of oil in the world are part of this BRICS alliance now. That is super, super concerning, guys. And on top of that, they also control lithium. The addition of Argentina will strengthen the bloc's lithium supply. The South American nation has the third largest lithium reserves in the world. According to an August 2022 JP Morgan forecast, Argentina's share of global lithium supply would rise from 6% in 2021 to 16% by 2030, surpassing Chile to be the second largest lithium producer in the world by 2027. At present, Argentina has 13 lithium projects in the pipeline, more than any other country. The addition of Argentina would position BRICS with 3 of the 5 largest lithium producers in the world, alongside China and Brazil. I mean, guys, I'm just saying, this is something that we cannot shut our eyes and hope it goes away from. Okay, we just can't do it. It's something that we really got to pay attention to, and whoever we elect into office, they need to be very aware of it, and they need to be taking this as a top 3 priority right now. Because I'm telling you guys, if this keeps going the way that they're trying to make it happen, everything is going to shoot through the roof. Okay, our dollar will not go anywhere. Like, we're already upset that McDonald's now, instead of charging $1 for their hot and spicies, it's like $3.50 now for a freaking hot and spicy at McDonald's. Wait until this goes through, and if they do a lot of these oil transactions without using the US dollar, those hot and spicies go from $3.50 to $7 real quick. Okay, so we just got to be aware of it, guys, because again, it's our money that they're messing with. It's all these. Foreign policy matters, and it matters because if we don't do things correctly, they're going to do exactly what they're doing. They're going to make other alliances. They're going to join together with all the countries that hate what the United States is doing right now, and they're going to try to get off the US dollar. They're going to do everything they can, and it's just concerning, guys. It's really concerning because it's not about what happens now. It's about if this goes through 5 to 10 years from now, maybe even sooner, depending on how drastic this gets. It's just, we're going to be in for a rude awakening if we don't wake up, You know what I mean? So I got this little video here, this just a news thing, just kind of breaking it down of really what this grouping is doing, and with them bringing in these new countries into the alliance, on what it kind of does. Okay, it's 2 minutes and 18 seconds, so it's not too long. So let's watch this here.
In Johannesburg, the BRICS bloc of developing nations invited 6 new members to join, including Saudi Arabia and Iran, in an apparent move against the West. On top of that, Chinese leader Xi Jinping vows for industrialization and agricultural modernization as he meets African leaders. Chung Eun-ju tells more.
The BRICS group of emerging economies has announced the admission of 6 new members in an attempt to reshape the global world order and provide a counterweight to the U.S. and its allies. The decision was announced Thursday as South African President Cyril Ramaphosa wrapped up the annual summit of the group in Johannesburg. From the beginning of next year, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Ethiopia, Egypt, Argentina, and the United Arab Emirates will join the current 5 members: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. This is the bloc's first expansion in 13 years. Russian President Vladimir Putin congratulated the new BRICS members in a video message, adding that the bloc's global influence will continue to grow. Putin did not attend the 3-day summit in person as he faces an arrest warrant for war crimes in Ukraine issued by the International Criminal Court. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi also welcomed the expansion. Chinese leader Xi Jinping described the expansion as historic. He added the bloc should accelerate the BRICS expansion process to bring more countries into the BRICS family. Xi had been the leading proponent of the admission of new members, presenting an enlarged BRICS as a way for the Global South to have a stronger voice in world affairs. President Xi Jinping said during the China-Africa dialogue, which followed the BRICS summit that concluded earlier on Thursday, that China will also provide emergency food assistance to some African nations. Beijing will help countries in Africa to expand grain cultivation and encourage Chinese companies to invest in agriculture. Food inflation has surged in Africa since Russia invaded Ukraine in February 2022. The conflict has also caused fuel and fertilizer costs to increase, which contributed to double-digit increases in food costs from Nigeria to Ethiopia. Chung Eun-ju, Arirang.
I'm telling you guys, this is it's just not good. It's not good. We just got to pay attention. Got to pay attention. Got to know what the hell's going on, because if we don't, and we don't actually speak up, and the majority of the people in the United States don't speak up that this is something that we need to pay attention to, our politicians aren't going to do shit. Okay, they're not going to. They already don't do a lot. All right, all they're doing is padding their pockets and making sure that their family is set. And it's really just frustrating seeing what we're doing and what we're allowing to happen. We gotta really care about our country again. Like the average person, we gotta care about what the hell's going on, or we're gonna lose everything that we got, guys. We're gonna lose it so quick. And it's just like, man, like, do we really want the downfall of the United States? Is that really what we want right now? I mean, come on, guys. I just want everybody. I want everybody to have the best chance to have as successful and fulfilling of a life as possible. And with what's going on around the world and in the United States, just with everything, we're gonna let it crumble. And that's just not something that I want to do. It's not something that I want to do idly. Okay, like if the United States is gonna crash, then I'm gonna keep doing this podcast and do my part at least to try to wake people up as much as possible. You know. So again, guys, I hope we have a good start to the week. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure we like and subscribe if we haven't already. But I hope you guys have a blessed day, and I'll see you on the next video.